Hello, my beautiful Facebook family, all my friends and family. I wanted to share my experience on my 7-day water fast and enema cleanse recently. I've been wanting to do this for over a year, actually. I read the book, The Essene Gospel of Peace, and it really resonated with me. And it explains how eating different foods can create parasites and different issues in our body. And then when we have cravings, like wanting something really sugary or something salt, like potato chips, it's really those parasites that are talking. It's not our body. And so in order to become more pure, then we need to purify our body. And it just never felt like a good time, fasting. It's like, oh yeah, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do it later. David wasn't really on board with doing it, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be too hard by myself to do it. And the universe just gifted me the perfect time. I am alone in Portland right now with in a tiny home. My friend that owns it is in Mexico, and I'm like, all right, I have no excuse now. No excuse not to do it. I kept saying, oh, when I get to Mauritius, I'll do it. Or and my higher self, whatever, you call it, my intuition told me now is the time. Now. Quit putting it off. So I did it. And I've been practicing fasting for a while. Intermittent fasting. 1-day fasts for ceremonies. I've done 3-day fasts. I did 5-day fast. But in all those fasts, even the 5-day one, I was still consuming a little marijuana, or I did some, just a coffee with MCT oil, no sugar or milk or anything. But this time I just did water. And I didn't do any medicines, nothing. I was committed to really purifying my body this time. And then with enemas as well. My experience was I had really good energy. The first 5 days, I was doing yoga, I was out dancing, I had no problems, I wasn't really even hungry. But like I said, I've been practicing fasting for a while. If you've never fasted, doing a 7-day fast, I wouldn't recommend it. You need to practice first. Start with intermittent fasting. Lengthening the time in between when you eat. Like, don't eat as early in the morning, break your fast later, and then stop eating earlier in the evening. Fasting is one of the best things that we can do for our bodies. It really detoxes and purifies it. It's medicine, actually. It helps with controlling your mind and thoughts, and it helps in so many ways. I've done every plant medicine that many plant medicines. I'm sure there are others out there, but a lot of the sacred plant medicines I've done, the ayahuasca, peyote, I've done the salvia d'onor, I've done you name it, iboga, cambo, bufo, I've done all these plant medicines, and I just came to this point in my life that I don't need them anymore. That I am the medicine. And this fasting was just a repurification of my body. And day 5, on that day when I did an enema, there was still a bunch of sludge that came out of my system. It was really gross, actually. After not eating for 5 days, to have that still in my system. So, before I thought, oh, I could just fast. I don't need to do the enemas. Yeah, you do. Because so much gets stuck in our colons and our bowels that really purified with the colon, with the enema cleansing. So if you are going to commit to do a real purification of fasting, I highly recommend the colon cleansing. And for me, this was my experience. I'm not saying it's everyone's. I did a coffee enema one day, and it was like I drank a cup of coffee. It made me jittery, and I couldn't sleep very good that night. So I believe that just doing salt water. Enema is sufficient with some warm water. Warm it up, a couple teaspoons of Himalayan salt, and you're good to go. I drink just spring water. Distilled water is not good. And so I made sure I just got some spring water and drank that. I wanted to have the best for my body. If I'm going to purify it, then I'm going to put some good stuff in it. My goal with this was to just go raw food afterwards. So I wanted to really purify my body so it was ready for that transition. So day 6, I started my menstrual cycle. And that day I was zapped. I just didn't have any energy. I had several appointments that I had to cancel. And I was just like, so that was my body. Like, that was like a double detox between the fasting and then my menstrual cycle. So that day was more challenging. But then the 7th day, I got up and I had plenty of energy again. And, you know, I helped a friend with her Airbnb out in Hood River, and I was able to go to the store and do all the things. But I did feel some more, I had to stretch, like some stuff was getting released out of my low back that day. So the fasting is a deep detox and cleanse. So that was basically, that was my experience. Then I went to Whole Foods and I bought a papaya, some avocados and mangoes, and I was so excited. And I had a little bit last night when I broke my fast, and it felt like so much food, like literally, you know, eating that much. And I'm still not that hungry. So when I read that Essene Gospel of Peace, it recommended that after you do this cleanse, that you only eat 2 times a day and then 1 day a week fast. And I do believe that as well. I believe that we consume way too much food that we don't need, and that it overburdens our systems. And, you know, you can see all the results of it in our society. All the diseases and disorders are directly from what we put into our temples. So I encourage anyone that wants to, you know, just start with intermittent fasting, you know, just lengthen the times between when you eat, and be mindful of what you're putting into your body, because it does matter. It really does. I know our bodies are a temple, and that the more we treat them as such, the more clarity we will have, the better we'll be in tune with our intuition, and our hearts. So that's what I have to share with you guys. And if anyone has any questions or wants some help on their path, I'm always here for you guys. And I love you so much. Much love, 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 love. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Infinite blessings. Mwah. Peace be with you all.